back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And it's August.
Oh man, is it August?
It has been a crazy week. As you know from the title of this video, we will explain it all. But yeah, we're back and we're glad to see you all, and so excited about our new subscribers. We're almost to 500, so keep telling your friends about us and hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're not a subscriber yet, smash that subscribe button.
We're good. We show up every Sunday morning just to chat and talk about nonsense. So, All right, Eve's going first.
I am. So I found my printout of Robin. As I suspected, I had put the stitch part of this into a different bag than the threads and this. I guess I was putting it away and just shoved it in the wrong bag. Anyway, this is Robin by Maria Bravko, Cute Patterns by Maria, and she has an Etsy shop, and it is, her patterns are just beyond cute.
Adorable.
And if you've been watching us a while, you know I do a lot of her patterns. This was a cross-stitch camp piece that I started last June. And I thought, it's small, I can get it done. So I put it on this year's WIP-GO, and this is the first day that I will be working on it because it's been one of those times. Okay, so there's that. Now, this was last month's WIP-GO project that I did. And to all a good night, stitching with the housewives. Honestly, I didn't get very much done. I got more done than the last time that you saw it. I finished the word all.
I was going to say, I see the word all.
Yeah. But every time I sit down to stitch, I'm like, you know, I should finish packing this, or I should finish packing that. Or it's hotter than Hades in here and I don't want to work on anything, which we will talk about later. But, you know, I knew I wasn't going to, because of circumstances and all that, that I really wasn't going to concentrate on this and finish it. So any progress is progress, right? Okay, so there is that. So I work on my temperature patterns on Fridays. And I did some more on Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts 2023 Temperature SAL, and I'm trying to finish it off with this bottom part. And I've got blue flowers.
Oh,
See, blue flowers.
Oh,
nice.
I did a couple more stitches on the border just because I needed to finish off this little stem here. So I had a little piece from something, because that same color is used in the other temperature chart. So I absolutely love these flowers. Every time I look at it, I'm like, I can't wait for it to be done. But I'm only going to work it on Fridays, and I'm only going to work on it for a short time because these turtles take forever. Okay, so Stitchin' Mommy's temperature turtles. I haven't been saying what I'm doing things on, but all of this pretty much is 14 count Aida that I've dyed myself. I have one project that is on something else, which you'll see in a second. So in June, we had 2 or 3 days that went above 115. For how hot June was, that was remarkable. And then July was cooler than
It's been
June.
more mild. Yeah.
And
Crazy.
yet we had all of July, we had one day that was, I think one, maybe two, that was over 115. But,
Backwards.
well, they were basically the same. And
But
here
I'm
we
saying
are.
backwards from history, like usually
Yeah.
July is much hotter.
So here we are. Here's July, another red turtle, very red turtle. And August is probably going to be fairly red. Yesterday, it is not saying that the temperature is really high today, but yesterday and today, yesterday's temperature said it was 111. I swear it felt like it was 118. It was so hot. You could be outside for a few minutes and then go, I need to get in.
This is the way it's been in Arizona. Eli says to me, Mom, you think it's too hot to bike this morning? And I'm like, it's only 97. That's our reference. It's only 97.
Yeah, just now I looked at,
Right now it's 113, but it
Yeah.
feels like 114. How do they know what it feels like? For me, it feels like 130.
It feels like, yeah.
it feels uncomfortable. That's what they should put on.
Let me put it this way. Beth and I went to go pick up a couple of things that I'm going to be teaching in art class. And Beth and I went to go pick up a couple of things that I needed for that. And we're arriving home, getting out of the car. It was so hot standing by the car. And I'm just like, I wanted to shout at her, shut the door so I can lock it and go inside. And she wasn't like taking her time or no, she wasn't dawdling at all. She was just getting out of the car. But I was so hot, I just wanted to go inside. And part of that is because it was so hot inside.
That's why I was like, my hair was nice and neat when we left the house. And it was like all frazzled and fuzzy from the...
Joanne was so hot. It was so hot in there. Beth and I were like, I don't want anything else. Let's get out of here.
By the time I went up to the register, I just bought a couple things. But by the time I went to the register, I was dripping, like sweat rolling down my, in my...
Those big warehouses just don't cool down.
Well, I can't imagine working in there. I would just,
Yeah.
no. So for cross stitch camp in August, I am doing, this is the Birds of a Feather series, Scattered Seed Samplers, Little Berry Thief. And I am using the called for colors. I am.
Shocking.
But they don't look right. Okay, so when you look at this blue, you can tell it's blue. It's kind of a dark blue, but it's blue, right?
For the 2?
Yeah.
The number 2?
Mm-hmm. That is the color.
It looks blue to me.
But it's much darker.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Those are those hand dyed? So they're a little different? No.
But the model might have been stitched and hand dyed. But the pattern calls for DMC. On the eye, I'm using Ada. This is 18 count Ada in, I don't know, ivory. And A, I hate the fabric. B, I like it for this project. I think it's the closest I'm going to get to the 36 count, whatever, because I don't want to stitch on 36 count. The eye calls for you to stitch 1 over 1, and I read the instructions. I swear I did. And the pattern, you can see something around the middle part of the eye, and if you hold a magnifying glass up to it, you might be able to tell that it's little circles, which is the symbol for white. But I can't do 1 over 1 all the way around, all that stuff. So I just did a Smyrna cross of the dark color. And I think what I'm gonna do is do backstitch line around kind of in the middle. I don't know, maybe. I might just leave it like that, because I don't mind it like that. In the picture, his eye looks very surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And with birds, generally you don't see the white of their eye. So, I don't know. Anyway, it's my project. I can do it however I want. Anyway, that's me.
Beth, you go next?
Yeah. Okay, so I worked a little bit more on the little brown bat, which was one of my WIP-GO calls for last month, because as you may recall, I talked about how I had done the gray on his little cheek, and I pulled it all out because it was wrong, and so I wanted to I just worked on the gray on this cheek there till I finished it and got it right this time. So I didn't make much more progress than I showed last week, but I did do all that gray that you can't see from where you are. But I finished it, so that part is done. So that was just I think one more day from the 7th day that I did it, to fulfill it.
For August or July?
For July.
Oh, okay.
For the end of July. So this was my secondary chart, 7 Pines. This is a little freebie from 2013, I think, by Little House Needleworks. And it's just, like it says, 7 Pines and a little snowman. And so I had chosen this fabric. This is 46 count oat Bristol, and I'm doing 1/2 on this 46 count. So it's very tiny, and it's hard to see from there, but there's like a white border, and then a few little red. I don't know. They're not crowns, but just little red things across the top, and then of course the 7 Pines. I haven't done the trunks or anything like that, but I wanted to finish the 7 Pines. Themselves, the tree part. But right here, there's a little mistake you can see where these 2 trees are touching, and there's supposed to be a space in between them, and I just put 1 extra stitch. Too much. So I
fail. You failed.
I was thinking, if I can find a
trees in the forest actually touch each other, so I think it's all right.
Yeah, I was thinking about because there's some little white snow drop kind of things in between these trees, and I was thinking about just if I stitch just 1 white stitch in between them, it'll separate the trees, and but it's it's a minor thing. I haven't done the tree trunks, and there's a couple of lines of snow, and then the snowman himself. I didn't do that, and I didn't quite finish the border because after I was starting to come up, I got to the end of the thread here, but then I got nervous that it wouldn't line up right, but so these trees are all correct except for the 1 stitch. And it looks like the tree that's closest to the border on this side is it's all in the right place. So hopefully I'll whenever I work on it again, I can finish the border because it's apparently in the correct place. But anyway, so that was from July, and so on August 1st, I didn't start my camp piece that night because it was a new start, and I didn't have the mental energy to do all of finding the starting place and blah blah blah, because I had been working all day on my room, and and so so by the time I hadn't stitched anything, and it was actually I think after midnight on the first, and I was like,
So it was the second?
yeah, but so it was, or maybe it was almost midnight, something like
You're
that.
like,
So
oh no, I need to put a stitch.
yeah, and so I stitched on.
The police are knocking on your door.
I stitched on August rabbit because of course we're supposed to say rabbit on the first, whatever. So this is ink circles.
You're supposed to.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
Or
it's
the
a good
cross stitch.
no, it's a good look thing, to say
yeah,
rabbit on the first day of the month, But so this was August, and I think last time I worked on it was like in the spring, like maybe May or something like that. And at that time, I was working on the white on the rabbits. They're all in white in this chart, and I had made a mistake. They were not lined up the way they're supposed to be, and so I had to take it all out. And at the time, then I had just stitched like the rabbit's ears or something like that, and so I just had a length of thread that was left over, so I just did a little bit more of this rabbit here, just that one strand's worth. So I didn't quite finish his body, but I would stitch a few stitches and fall asleep, and then wake up, and then stitch a few stitches and fall asleep.
Oh no.
Wake up, go to the bathroom, be wide awake, so I'd stitch a few stitches and then fall asleep. So I finally got to the end of this thread, and said, that's enough. I ain't doing anymore because I'll just make a mistake. And this is stitched on 32 count Miranda Carré, and I'm using all the called for Gloriana silks in that one. And then I finally started on my cross stitch camping. I haven't started my WIP-GO stuff yet because that's a whole other thing. But I did start on my cross stitch camp, and the challenge this month for August was to stitch on something new to you. And so I had never done a Stacey Nash design. This is by Stacey Nash Designs, called Calling of the Sea. And there's 3 charts in there. There's a whale, a ship, and a compass. And I really, 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 really wanted to do the whale, but it's 145 by 112. So I didn't think I could do that, because of all the stuff going on. So the ship is 77 by 73, and that's the one I'm doing, of these 3. And all I've gotten so far is just, you can't even really see it. This is also 32 count Miranda Carré.
That whale is beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I really love the whale. But so I just did the top of the border, and I'm going down the side now. So, so that's all I've done of this so far, but I'm hoping to do more. And then when we were at Joann's, I just bought these they're just bamboo
drumsticks?
dowels. Yeah, it's like a drumstick. Well, at first when I saw them, I thought, are those for some kind of knitting needle case or something like that? But then they're just bamboo dowels. And
so you can hang stuff from them.
Yeah, and I thought, because I was in there with no agenda, so I was like,
Dangerous.
Yes, it is. So I thought they might be good for finishing stuff, whatever. And then I saw this. They had little backpacks with a keychain thing on them, but then they had these. And I really, really like the little backpacks with a keychain.
I'm surprised you didn't get that.
Yeah. But this is, I thought, okay, well, that's
practical.
More practical. I can use it for a Notions pouch or something like that.
Really
so it's a little kitty with little kitty ears. Yeah. So anyway, I because I was at Joann's with no agenda. And then the other thing was one of my followers on my channel, Charlotte Jorgensen, sent me a little thank you card, thank you note, I should say, because she, I think I sent her a giveaway thing a couple of years ago, or I mean a year ago or so, and she just, you know, wrote me a little thank you note, and so you can see the little stationery there. I was going to show the envelope, but I tore the little flap when I tried to open it. I tore it. But anyway, it's really pretty, and thank you very much, Charlotte. It's one of my regular subscribers, so yeah, I really like that. So that's me.
That's you?
That's me.
Well, I have had a
Wonderful day.
Well, a wonderful day, but a very strange week because I felt kind of, at least fiber world wise, kind of lost. Like, I don't know what to do. I did go on, I think it was early in the morning, either Monday or Tuesday. It was Tuesday. Or Wednesday, maybe. One of those days.
Stop doing that.
I went and rearranged Hannah's room. Like I made her bed, and I put my spinning stuff on one side of my sock machine, and I opened up my box, and so I'm trying to arrange things so I can go in there and whatever I feel like doing, I can have like a station, whatever. And then something happened this week, which will be in stories, which kind of tore up Hannah's room. So then what happened was my husband tore up Hannah's room. But anyway, that's another story. But, so I just, yet the other day, I went in there. I haven't worked on Hannah's sweater all week. At the end of, so you remember this was almost done last week. I did finish this. It's really, can you try that on you? Because it's really small, and I'm really worried that it's too small for my aunt.
Perfect.
Oh, it's perfect for you? I think you guys probably have the same size hands. My hands are just so huge.
That is so cute.
So I did finish that, and I
Okay, now I want that yarn again.
yeah.
But I don't want mittens.
Yeah.
I would never wear them.
So I was worried this was too small, but I did finish the mitten. And the big thing that I did was, if you remember how it looked before, I wove in all the ends. So that took a nice chunk of time, and that was enjoyable. Actually, I kind of like weaving in ends, though it can be stressful. So I did finish this. So that was my one accomplishment. Now, I forgot to bring this with me last week, but I actually made this last week. I was like, I want to play with my sock yarn, my sock machine. I don't even remember how to make a sock. So I took it out, and my husband and son are like, well, can you pull it out here, do it out here with us? I'm like, you guys are a bunch of babies, but okay. So unfortunately, I put many weeks ago, I put a picture of my sock machine on my new little rolling table that I have for it. So I was able to just haul it out. But anyway, I made this shorty sock for myself. Did I make the second sock? No, I did not. But this took me basically one sitting, one evening, and it was too late by the time I finished. But I really like it. So here's the picture of the cone of yarn. It's a giant cone of yarn that I bought from a sock supplier, and I had seen the sample sock when I bought it online. But you kind of forget what it's going to look like. But this is how it came out, and it's hard to tell from the big cone.
It's beautiful
how it comes out. So it kind of makes because this is all dyed by a self-striping. Yeah. It's all dyed by a computer, and so it makes it look like Fair Isle, like you were doing color work. So that's kind of fun. And I made this for myself because I love the other shorty sock that I have, the other pair I have, and I wear it. And
yeah, I wore that set you gave me.
Yeah.
So the shorty socks that you bought, that you made me, I said, well, what happened to them? And we're packing up, and I found one sock.
Oh no.
And I said, well, I don't want to get rid of this. I'm going to put it in, and the other one will turn up. And later on, I think I found the other one. But could I find the second one to put them together?
They're packed. When you unpack, you'll find them. But,
I saw a thing when we were at Joann's called the sock. It said sock monkey, you know, and I thought that you know the little sock monkeys in it, and I looked at it, but it was like some kind of a clip, so you could clip your two socks together. Yeah,
that's what he needs. But anyway, so I made one. I'm gonna try to make this, finish this. And then the other night I went into Hannah's room and I fixed it back from its blow up, and I was like, but what do I want to do? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I was like,
you lost your mojo.
well, you know what? Also, I started writing again, so I think my brain is like, go write. But I wanted to do something fun. So anyway, do you remember that I bought this with my birthday money, right? This little, this is the instruction,
thing.
my little knitting machine.
I'll be right back. You don't have to deposit.
Okay. I bought this little knitting machine. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to learn since I'm bored and I don't know what to do. And I made this cord.
Oh yeah.
So that's what comes out of there. This is the scrap yarn I have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, there's mistakes in it where it was dropped and you can see the mistakes. But yeah, it's a nice little cord. I just did it till I was bored and tied it off. So that's fun. And then last night I decided to do some more spinning. And I have been working on this fiber from Tempe Yarn and Fiber, dyed by Delicious Fiber. Was the owner of the yarn shop, has her own hand dyeing company. So that's her label. This is Polwarth wool and silk, and this is the last of it that I have to spin. It's so pretty. And here is a picture of it on the bobbin at home. I'm still working on the singles, and then I think I'm going to chain ply it so I can keep the colors together, so it doesn't barber pole into a colorless mess. I'm going to chain ply it. But anyway, so I did that.
So people
And then
probably like me don't know what you're talking about.
what I'm talking about. So I spin yarn on a spinning wheel, and right now I'm taking this wool, and so right now this is like a combed top is what they call it. So the wool fibers are just loose, and if you pull it out, it's called drafting. You pull out just a few fibers like this, and then the spinning wheel adds twist, and as it adds twist, it basically twists on itself and will stay there because of the properties of wool. And it stays, and also you put it on a bobbin so you keep it kind of contained. Then when you take that, what's called a single, it's a single spun bit of wool, you take it off that bobbin and you ply it either with another single similar, or I'm going to be plying it onto itself. So you first spin it in one direction, and then when you ply it in the other direction, and the energy from that twist will help it to basically balance with, when you go the other way, it balances on itself and becomes an actual yarn that has, like this, has twist in it. So this one is a 2-ply. It's got 2 singles. See if I undo it, see that? But if I let go, the energy from that original spin lets it pop back. So I make my own yarn, and I decided I made a little spinning corner so I can pull out my spinning. So this is all I have left to do on that 4 ounces that I originally got. And when I ply it, I will bring it. So I did that last night, and then I got bored, and so I was like, you know what? For my birthday, I'm a mess. So for my birthday, one of the other things I bought was the punch needle set. And look, I started doing.
Oh, how cute!
You can't really. I'll do a close up, but it's a little cactus, and then I started on the dark background with it. The picture is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to learn how to do it, and it's probably a mess, but this is the pattern. So I started with the cactus, and I'm working on this brown background now. So I just put my colors in a baggie unceremoniously. And, but what's tedious about it, and you know, it gives you two of these because it knows you're gonna break it. You can't even see it. It's I put it against the
threader?
table. Yeah, it's a threader. You can't see it.
Mhm.
It's a threader and it has a little white handle. But these always break. They always break. And I was working on it very innocently, and it just, the handle pulled off. So I kept using it broken. But the biggest pain about, in my opinion, about punch needle is having to thread that stupid thing every 5 minutes. Because as soon as you're done, you know, you go through one length of the thread, and you gotta thread it again, and you gotta thread it again. I was like, I'm tired of this. So I got bored with that. But I brought it to show. So I did do something this week. And then while I've been sitting here, I decided to pick up Hannah's sweater. This is her cardigan that I'm working on. Someday when she's 105, it'll be done.
When she no longer lives in a cold climate, she retires.
When she moves to, you know, Hawaii or something. No, so part of the reason okay, let's start back a week ago from today. Let's start our stories. I wrote down the chronological thing, and I'm like, I cannot believe all these things happened this week. A week ago, I drove here, and I drove home, and parked the car, and then Eli and I are like, let's go to Costco. So we get in the car, and it's mid-afternoon, maybe like 2 o'clock. Get in the car, and in Arizona, you have to actually start driving before your air conditioner cools off. So you don't think about it when it's blowing hot air in your face. And we get in the car, we get down on the freeway, we're going to Costco, and the air's not cooling down. As a matter of fact, it's getting hotter. It feels like a blast of heater. And I'm like, something is wrong. So I call Mark, and I'm like, the air conditioner is not working, and I had the like 50,000 mile service done a little while ago, so I was like, I don't know if they check the air when they do that, I didn't know, but I was like, so I called Mark, and I was like, please call Sun Devil, because I'm still on the freeway, and I'm like, I'm just going to drive over there, because if they can take the car right now, that'd be great. So I'm just driving. So we bypass Costco. We're driving up to where we usually take our cars. So he calls back, and they're like, they cannot take it today. And meanwhile, Eli and I, you know, because we're going too fast on the freeway to open the windows, and it's just roasting. And of course, like an idiot, I keep checking it. Is it going to cool down now? Is it working now? You know. So I'm just sweating so bad. So I'm like, okay,
that scene in
I'm gonna go.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Their faces are melting.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go to there's another service company very near the house. I thought maybe they can help us. I'll just walk in. Well, Mark was trying to call them as I was driving over there. So anyway, we made this big circle in a hot car, and we get there, and they're like, no, sorry, we can't, because we're
It was already late on the day.
It was like
Saturday.
4 o'clock, but I mean, I said we left at 2. We probably didn't. But it was late, so late in the day that they were either really booked or their mechanics were already gone.
Yeah.
So nobody could take it. So I'm like, fine. So I go back home and wound up having to like do a key drop on Sunday and get the air conditioner fixed on Monday for a very exorbitant amount of money, because what happened was there were some, you know, the guys that talk to you like you know what they're talking about, and you're just like, okay. And I believe them. They're honest guys. I really like them a lot, and we've known them for years. I fully trust them. But they were like, that component must have gotten white hot and melted, because they're usually painted black and there was no paint on it. And I was like, could it have started a fire in my car? Anyway,
I thought only my Kia melted.
So when they did it, so okay, 2 weeks ago maybe, or 2 weeks prior to last weekend, I remember at some point I went to start the car. Oh, it was here, because my car sits in full sun when I'm here, and so it wasn't last Saturday, but the Saturday prior. I went to start the car, and it had been sitting, or maybe it was at home. Anyway, it had been sitting in the heat, and it was super hot that day. And I went to start the car, and I got the rrr, 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 and then it started. And I told Mark, I said, I think my battery's going. So when we took it in for the air conditioner, we said, can you please check the charge on the battery? Because I'm worried about it as well. And so they fixed the air conditioner, and they said the battery's fine. It's pulling, 500 something out of 600, blah, 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 blah. It's fine. It's good. I'm like, okay. So then, what was it? Tuesday? Monday night?
It started going Sunday night.
So this one messages me and says, "Oh, I've got you beat. Our house air conditioner isn't working." So
all day Monday, no air conditioning.
yeah.
Well, when I had fallen asleep, I guess, and I got up to go to the bathroom, and Rob asked me, "Is it really hot in your room?" And I said, I woke up and my head was sopping wet,
No.
and I just, my room is always hot anyway, and but it hadn't been bad, and then I woke up and I was sopping wet. I was so hot, and so I said, "Yeah, I woke up soaking wet with sweat, and it was like 85 out here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what? They finally came Monday evening, late Monday.
Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
Early afternoon, but it was like 100 degrees in the house by the time they were able to get out, and
oh yeah,
I had a wet washcloth that I used to just get some of the sweat off my skin on my face, and Beth had been working in the other bathroom, and she walked out of there. She was like dripping sweat,
no,
and I
it's
said,
so
"Here,
dangerous."
wipe your face down."
Yeah.
And she stole my cloth.
But here it can be so dangerous, and so we were like, "Come to the house," but we have 2 cats and a dog, and so we were.
She has 2 cats.
So we were trying. Yeah, they have 2 cats and a dog, and we were like, "How are we gonna do that?" And so we were trying to make a contingency plan, but Mark and Rob worked out getting someone here, and fixed it. So that was that was Monday.
Yeah, they fixed it, and it was.
Took a while for it to cool down again, I'm sure.
Well, and it was actually in the afternoon,
like middle of the night before it was actually at temperature.
Yeah.
but it was actually cooler to sit outside because after a while Rob knocked him on the door and he says, "Come outside, come sit outside." And so I went out there, and it was actually cooler out there than it was in the house.
It's and we were really concerned because because Eve's like, "Well, y'all can go, here and there, and I'll stay with the animals." Like, you're gonna die in there. No. So
Yeah, but Rogue was so hot. I could feel her temperature on her body, and she wasn't panting or anything. She was just like,
I can't move. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
my
That's
cats are
scary.
like fly.
It's really scary.
yeah.
So we're glad that worked out. So that was Monday. Okay. Tuesday, I think, was pretty normal. I don't remember anything bad happening on Tuesday. So. However, on Wednesday, I'm at work, Mark's at work. Oh yeah, that was, and Eli was with me, and I get a message from Mark that our home security sent him a message that said the power on the house was out. And I'm like, okay, that happens. So he's like, "Can you check SRP?" So I look on our power company website, and there's an outage over here in Awatuki, and there's an outage, further east of us, but nothing in our area. And I'm like, that's really weird. Okay. And so he had a meeting, and then he's like, "I'm going to go home," because he was really worried about the fridge. And so I couldn't leave. And so, and I figured, there's probably an outage. It'll come back on in an hour or 2, whatever. And on the way home, Mark got another message from our security system that said power's back on. And then about just less than a minute later, it said power's off again. So he's like, "What is going on?" So I messaged, so then we're on our way home, and I'm messaging my neighbors across the street, and I was like, are you out of power? And they're like, nope. And I'm like, oh no. So we get home, house is hot. But anyway, Mark beat me home, and the reason he tore Hannah's room apart was that we have a very large Blue Eddy battery. It's probably, I don't know, 2 feet tall, 2 feet wide. It's like it's big battery. And he keeps it in the house, and he couldn't remember if it was in Hannah's closet or Eli's closet. So he first went into Hannah's closet thinking it was there and pulled all this stuff out, because I have her closet. We decided to put our suitcases in her closet instead of the garage, because they'd been getting really kind of dirty and, you know, like some spiders and stuff. So we were like, I don't want them in the garage anymore. So we like a Jenga puzzle, put them in Hannah's closet, so he couldn't see the bottom of the closet, so he thought it was in there. So, but then I had the Jenga puzzle of the suitcases, and then a bunch of my craft bags and stuff, and he pulled it all out. So that's why. And he's like, it wasn't there. I'm sorry I did that. So then he hauled that big battery out and plugged the fridge into it. So the fridge was able to, since we hadn't opened it, it had gotten a little bit warm, but I think the warmest the freezer got was like 27. You know, it stays at 0 all the time, so it wasn't too bad. It hadn't yet thawed. And so we plugged that in, and then I go to call SRP and report the outage. And she says, oh, your account's been closed. And I jokingly, as I was dialing, I looked at Marty like, did you pay the bill? Ha ha, you know. That would never happen. So she's like, your account's been closed. And I'm like, what? And I told Mark, she says, our account's been closed. And he's like, what? It was so bad. So, I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but I didn't know this. If someone calls and says, I want the power turned on in my name at X address, the power company will say, okay, and close the old account that was at X address and put it in the new person's name. And supposedly, the old account holder is supposed to be notified. We were not notified. So, so that little blip, when it came back on, was an error, because she said, so she told us that it was a clerical error completely on their part, and that it was fixed for the new person. Because as I was on hold, I'm like, wait a minute, if it was switched into someone else's name, why isn't our power on?
It would still be on.
And they're paying for it. Great, you know. But she's like, no, it was a clerical error, and it was corrected by SRP. But our account still was closed. And there was nothing, like, she's like, it should not have happened, but it did. So we can and so while I'm on the phone with her, our power came back on. She fixed it. And she was very nice and very apologetic. I mean, because she understood that I was, and I'm like, so they asked me 10 times, what's the last 4 of your social? This, blah, blah, that. And, you know, and I'm like, so you require all of this to talk to me about this problem, but you don't require anything to turn off the account of someone who has been in a house
who's paying for
10 years.
Who's paying for it?
14 years.
It's not like you hadn't been paying.
Right. And it's like, she's like, no, because people are moving all the time. I'm like, great. But what is to stop? Because I'm like, is this fraud? Is this like, she's like, no, it wasn't fraud.
Like squatters and, you know.
So you can't turn the power off on a squatter, but you can just turn the power off on someone who's lived there for 14 years just because someone told you they want, you know, I don't know if the person calling had the wrong address or the person calling had the correct address and the person at SRP typed it in wrong.
That's probably what happened.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you get a new house and you're like, I think the address is blah, blah, blah. Or you write, you know what I mean? Like, that can happen. I could see that happening. So, but I'm just like, I cannot. And she's like, no, and you should have gotten a text or, you know, something. And I'm like, nope.
If Mark hadn't been notified by the...
What if we didn't have that alarm system that notified us that? What if we were on vacation? What if, you know, all these things we don't know, and our power's just out.
Yeah.
And it's
What-
off, and nobody, I'm like, I was incredulous.
Well, you know,
I would not believe it.
When my landlord changed the power to her name, I wasn't notified. But when I went to try to pay the power bill, the account wasn't there. I couldn't pay it. And so I called, and they said, oh, it's been changed to her name. And I said, but I'm living here, and I was paying the bill. Well, she owns the house, so we changed it, right? So I called her, and she said, well, I needed a utility bill in my name for some government thing so she could get a discount on the mortgage, right? And I'm like, you don't live here.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, I own the house, and I figured you could just go ahead and keep paying it. And I'm like, I will pay it if it's in my name.
And
But
if it's
I
in your
will-
name, I'm gonna leave lights on all night.
Well, no, because she wasn't paying the mortgage.
Oh man.
And she
Yeah,
wasn't
that was a
paying
big
the
mess.
HOA. And I was
remember.
like, I'm not giving you any money.
Wow. Yeah,
you
I
know,
remember that. Yeah.
Because I was having to pay my mortgage at a law office, because of her mess. And I'm like, you're not dragging me into your mess.
When,
And they had to fix it.
When
I
I
just
moved,
couldn't believe that they could just turn it off. So
Well-
now we have to have a whole new, they're like, we cannot restore that account number. So you have to have a new account number. I'm like, what about all of our like history and our budgeting and all that? She's like, no, it's gonna all stay the same. I'm gonna make sure it's all the same. I'm so sorry. She put me on with, I didn't ask.
Mine
she,
didn't.
She put me on with a supervisor and, and they explained what happened and I was able to ask questions. And I'm like, no, this is a big screw up.
yeah,
Big screw
when
up.
I moved into my first apartment there in Little Rock, it was all electric and stuff, but I had to go get the power put in my name. And when I went there, they grilled me up and down about, are you related to so and so? Are you, blah blah blah.
I know.
So that in order to get it in my name, because I kind of think he had skipped out maybe or not
yeah.
paid the what he owed for
But
this
I-
last bill.
I
But it
just-
was like, yeah, I had to swear up and down that I wasn't related to him.
Because wouldn't you
But-
think that if someone was moving out and moving in, etc., that the people who had the account prior would call and say, I'm closing this as of this day. And I think because it was the 1st of August, or no, it was the end of July, it was July 31, that it was probably a natural time that this was happening. I'm sure they're getting 3,000 calls that as of tomorrow, I wanted my name or whatever.
You know what?
But
That house on Del Rio that was for sale, I bet it's around the same number.
But that's a whole different street. I don't know.
That's true.
It
That's
would have
true.
been. It has to have been somebody on our street. But I don't know of anybody moving at this point.
Well, I was going to say,
but-
when there was a time that I talked about how I was living in a customer service
Yeah.
vortex, because for one thing, I had trouble with getting I was trying to get a computer delivered to my office, because I live alone and I wasn't going to be home during the day when UPS or whatever would come around, and they had so I went through all that rigmarole with them misdelivering it, but also I lived at 503 East 7th Street in Little Rock, and right across the street was another apartment complex at 503 East 6th Street. And so it
the
faced,
mailman couldn't tell the difference
Yeah,
between
it
a 6
faced-
and a 7.
well, if the front of the building, it was an old house and then a bunch of little outbuilding apartments that in that complex. And the original house was called the Fowler House. And in the main Fowler House, there were like, I think 6 apartments. And then they had a bunch of little fourplex outbuildings, in this sort of larger area. And they were all had, different addresses, I don't know. But our house, the Turner Karcher house, was an old, like, turn of the century house. It had been made into apartments. Well, so our address was 503 East 7th, and I was apartment B, which is around the side. And the Fowler house was 503 East 6th, and the apartment B faced 7th Street. And so for a long time, I don't know if we had a substitute mail deliverer or whatever, but my mail would go to 503 East 6th, but on the 7th Street side. And I'm like, you can't have two 503 East 7th Street apartment Bs, you know, in two different buildings. And I remember one time I had ordered some shoes, like from Penny's or something like that. And I had ordered them, you know, to be delivered in the mail. And fortunately, the girl who lived in that apartment was an honest person, and she, you know, brought my delivery to our building. But I was like, for the longest time, I was like, why or how can you possibly not know the difference? Because I would get other stuff in the mail.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't have both addresses on the, you know? She
One
can't
time
be 503 East 6th Street and 503 East 7th Street at the same time.
Yeah.
One time we were pulling out of, to get onto Chandler, and there was a mailman at the keypad. And I said, do you need to be let in? He said, the thing isn't working. And he didn't have a key code to put in because he had something else that was supposed to trigger it, right? I guess. And I was all set to, you know, to trigger the gate. And a UPS guy pulled up behind him and triggered the gate. But it was like,
The mail. He's got to come in.
yeah.
So
He had to have been a substitute guy because he was like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh no. So that was Wednesday, and then Thursday everything stayed normal. And this morning, Friday was okay. I think. Did anything fun happen Friday? No, I worked from home on Friday. I get into my car to come here, and I have a push button start of my car. Nothing. Okay. Nothing. But the radio comes on. I'm like, well, how can the battery be dead if the radio's coming on?
And it's not making a click sound.
At the first it didn't. I mean, you know, it made like a click and all the noises that's coming on, but the starter didn't start. So I thought, it's the starter. And it's like, was like 11 o'clock or something. And I'm like, it's going to repeat. I'm not going to be able to get to Sun Devil in time for them to fix it today. I'll be without a car all day Sunday and Monday again in a week. And I'm like, well, we just checked the battery, so it's got to be something else. So then I started it again, and it went brr, and so it started to try to turn over, and I'm like, maybe it's the battery. So Mark came out, and he has, so you know how AAA will come with one of those big booster things and put on the battery, and it charges it. So years ago he bought one, and so because not this past Saturday, but a week ago, his car battery died. Thank you, Arizona summer. So he went to get that out, and it wouldn't. It was dead, and it would not take a charge. So he had to jump it the old-fashioned way between his car and my car. And so that was a couple of weeks ago, and he bought his expensive, ridiculous new battery in his little car. So we knew we didn't have the charger to jump my car. So we tried to jump it from his battery, and it did not put out enough juice. Mine wouldn't start. And so I thought, it's not the battery. I think it's the starter or something. I don't know. And I was like, argh. So we called AAA and waited, and they came, and he got his little booster thing out, because it's like big to like start truck batteries and everything.
Yeah.
And he put it on there, boop, starts. And then he has this little meter that reads the battery, and it was, and I'm like, it was just checked a week ago. And he's like, these batteries, it's so hot in Arizona, it can check fine in the morning and be dead by the afternoon. So if any of you all live in Arizona, get your batteries checked.
Any of you who moved to Arizona,
Yes.
if it's been
Yeah.
more than a couple of years since you changed your battery, expect it to die soon.
Yeah.
When I had first moved here, I was looking for a job, and I had my first job interview, and I went out to my car, and it wouldn't start. I was like, ah. And I was like, fortunately, Naomi was telling me you weren't. I guess you weren't working.
I was
at
working
that
part-time,
time. Yeah.
yeah.
And so I called her in a panic. And so she was able to take me to the job interview, and I think I had called AAA.
Excuse me.
In the morning, and they were going to come in the afternoon, but then when I came back, it started fine. And so then I went to get a new battery.
Yeah. It's just
But,
a rite of
yeah.
passage for Arizona. So,
Yes.
so we paid this very nice young man a lot of money to replace my battery.
But I love the fact that AAA will bring a battery.
Yes.
They bring batteries, they have them in their car.
Yeah.
And-
And I was glad he had one, because I was like, by the time I get over to, so blah, 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 and, so it's good. So now we have a brand new battery, and,
And you can take it to AAA and for,
Yeah.
if it dies within the
right. Well,
guarantee time.
because so he's like, we're going to mail you the new warranty, blah, blah, blah. Because he couldn't see when he looked at the battery if there was a label on it. And I was like, I don't remember when we replaced it. So then I was standing there thinking, okay, when he sends it to me, I'll print out the warranty and put it in the glove box. And then Mark goes, did we check the glove box to see if that battery had a warranty in there? I'm like, no. Sorry. Maybe we could have gotten a free one, but we didn't. So anyway, that was the adventure. But some other good things happened.
Mm-hmm.
So one good thing happened while I was waiting for AAA. I made what I think is the best hummus I've ever made in my life. I'm so excited. I found this recipe that has you blend you can't eat hummus, can you, Eve? Has you blend the tahini and the lemon juice first and get it fluffy, and then add all the flavor like garlic and salt and other stuff, olive oil, and blend it till it's fluffy, and then you put the chickpeas in, and then you use the chickpea reserve water, which they call aquafaba, which just means bean water. And apparently that's like really good.
It's really a thing.
It's really a thing. And so I use that to thin it and make it, smooth and everything. And it tastes so good. And I bet it will be gone by the time I get home, because Mark really liked it. So, because he really likes hummus. And I was like,
I bought a jar of tahini. I think just before I left Little Rock, I was gonna make hummus, and I think I had bought it. I think I had to throw it out before I moved out here.
yeah.
But I was like, oh man, because I had bought the tahini specifically because I was gonna try to make hummus because I love it so much, and then I just never did.
Oh, this hummus is so good. So good. Sorry.
On that same note, I've been going through the cabinets we have. We have a cabinet that was full of spices because I had some, and Eve had some, and my mom had some.
We had ants in the house.
So there were. There's a commercial where this person says we love our house, but we have ants, and
An ant infestation, and it was her. AUNTS, yeah.
Yeah. Expired. That's exactly. We're looking at all these spices, going, what does that date say? Well, like 2015. And I remember I read something a long time ago for like some chef advice or something, and he was saying you would buy a bottle of oregano or whatever, that after a certain amount of time it's like putting sawdust. It doesn't it loses its flavor. And so yeah, we were like looking at stuff and just like keeping some stuff that was probably close to being expired or had just expired, but and keeping some things that were okay, whatever. But for the most part, I mean, I threw away a big bag full of junk of
man.
you know, old spices. And
It feels
stuff.
good though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I was working on one of the pantry cabinets that, you know, had like, you know, mostly pastas and things like that. But then like there were several canisters.
She dropped rice everywhere.
Yes.
Oh no.
It's like I kept trying to sweep it up, and then like there's more rice, and I think the bag that I had them in, because I, you know, was like leaking on the bottom or something. It was one, you know, just a shopping bag, and I looked to try to pick one that didn't have a hole in it, but I don't know. Anyway, but so like, you know, there was like beans and rice and things like that, and I thought, you know, they didn't, you know, necessarily go bad, but like I know that some of it I brought from my house in 2015, and so it's like, you know, 10 years old. Yes, it's like, you know, part of what we were talking about, you know, part of you feels awful like throwing away like a you know,
Food.
yeah, a whole bunch of beans and things like that. But it was like, yeah, this is a bazillion years old, so
Yeah.
and you know, if you
But-
really want to make beans or something, you know, you can go to the store and buy some.
So, well, fortunately, you could go.
Yeah.
You know, thank goodness. But talking about dropping rice made me think. So last weekend, the other thing I did after I left here and the car was too hot, I was going to Costco because I was getting a few last things for this these crock-pot meals I decided to make. It's like 12 freezer. Did I talk about this last week? I think I did. It's
I
like
don't know.
I said I'm going to do this, and I did it, and it took me literally I stuck to the chair 2 days to do it, but 2 days and 4 trips to Fry's because I can't read, and so well, and a little bit. I maybe the ingredient list wasn't exactly thorough, I think, because you make 3 bags of 4 different recipes, so you get 12. One was like a turkey chili with ground turkey and beans and corn and stuff like that, and the other was a turkey vegetable soup, which we had the other day, which was really good. And then 2 chicken recipes. One is red pepper chicken with like bell peppers, chicken, you know, spices. And then the one we had last night was chicken and honey soy sesame sauce. And that was really good. And I was worried about it being a little too sweet, but I didn't use any extra sauce or anything. I kind of, anyway, it was really good. But I was too like, so they make those standers where you can put a plastic bag in it so that you can fill it, and I didn't have those. And so, but I bought these freezer bags that like stand up on your own. So you fold the edges back, and then once you start putting stuff in it, it'll stand. But so I had these freezer bags standing on my counter with 2 cans of tomato sauce and 2 cans of beans, and I'm like, so my mind kept just envisioning and like, this is gonna fall over and spill all over the place, and they didn't. But I kept, you know how you do that, like anxious, like where you actually can visually see the disaster happening.
Do you know why that happens? Why you see that?
Because I've done it.
Because it's happened.
Because it has happened. I have experienced it. But anyway, so since then, Mark ordered, I asked him, he ordered me some of those things. And they're adjustable, so you can fill a little bag or a big bag. But that worked out really, really well. The other good thing is, okay, this morning, so Mark ordered, we always play a lot of games, right? And he's always looking for good games. So he ordered a game, and it came, and he's like, I don't know if I want to keep it. Maybe I'll send it back. I'm like, no, I want to keep it. It looks cute. It's called, what is it called? I took a picture. It's called Spots. It's called Spots. It's dogs. Look. And it's a dice rolling game.
Oh.
So you have like let's see. So you have these cards, and you have to roll the dice and
Nasty.
when you roll a 4, you can put it on here, and if you roll all the dice for each dog, you get to turn it over, and the first person to get six dogs wins. So here's a picture of that. And then, but here, look, Beth. This is one of the dogs, Lil Beth. They're all named.
When we were looking at
Lil Beth.
I was looking.
And then
That's like exploding kittens.
Then wait. Look what else we found as we were looking through the deck.
Rogue.
Naughty Rogue is digging a hole. And then, but so like these were the ones I had. This was Cabbage, Taters, and Ham were 3 little dogs on this card. Zipper, Bitsy, Lil Beth, Gretchen, and Frankie. They were so cute. The drawings are adorable. It's a real fun game. It's kind of a like if you can keep rolling to try to get it, but then if you can bust out and lose everything, kind of like we play a game like that called Pass the Pigs. But anyway, it's super cute, and I won. So
I was gonna say there when we were like looking at houses just randomly, and there was one on the street name was Beth. Like, oh well, we have to buy that now. And there was one on what was it called?
So what's your address, Beth? No, I know, but what street do you live on?
Yeah.
Beth.
There
I
was-
know your name. Where do you live? I live on Beth. No, it'd be a bad idea.
It's like, yeah. It's like, what is it? Who's on first?
Right.
There's, there was another house that I saw once on something like Bumblebee Trail or something like
that's
that.
cute.
But yeah, it was like, I want that house just because I like the street name.
So I was making the hummus, and I was like, oh, those would be cute names for cats. Tahini and hummus.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's something weird I found. Okay. This is called Diet Detectors. This is a strip that you can put into a Coke or a drink of any kind, and it'll tell you if it has sugar in it. It's how many times you've been like, I don't know, is this a diet? Is that a diet? Taste it. And you can't really tell sometimes because the mixes are wrong.
Yeah.
And I haven't used one yet, but it's like a small little tube, and it's almost like a fish. It's when you test the water for fish, it's got a little test strip on there.
Oh, yeah.
So you just stick it in the drink, and then it'll tell you if it's got sugar in it. So I thought that was kind of fun. See, it tells you. It's just like a fish strip.
Oh.
Negative, moderate risk, non-diet soft drink. So if you're so this is called Diet Detector. You can get them on Amazon. You get a little box with 2 of these strips. So this is nice and small, fit in your purse. If you need that, because I hate that.
Sometimes you get a drink and you're like, well, that doesn't taste like regular Coke, but there's something wrong with this drink.
Mm.
And you can't put your
your
finger on.
But I didn't realize this. I went to eat out with a friend of mine in Boston, and she even asked the waitress. They sometimes use cheap Coke, like
Off-brand.
like Big K, or whatever the store brands are.
Yeah.
They use off-brand Coke and charge you for Coke, and they of course charge $3.50 for a Coke.
Yeah.
And she's like, because she's like, if you think we are addicted to diet drinks, she is super addicted to Diet Coke. Like, Diet Coke is like IV, and so she can spot it a mile away. Like, this isn't real Diet Coke, is it? And the waitress is like, no, I think it's BS. Like, she was like, but that's why. But
Well, see, here's the thing. If they put the symbol on their menu,
Mm-hmm.
they can get in trouble if people complain. It's not
but
worth
it's
it.
like, this is good because sometimes, especially at restaurants, you're like, it doesn't taste right. It could be the mix, but what if it's sugar and I drink it and it's not going to be good? So I'm really glad to have these. I just thought that was a fun little find.
Speaking of drinks, my cats. When you were talking about we were talking about the heat going out, and not too long ago our garbage disposal went out, and but I spent, the last couple of days I've been, working in my room and cleaning stuff I wanted to, Robert wants to stage my bedroom, when we show the house finally. And so we were talking about, what's possible to move around, whatever. And so I was, cleaning the floor and this and that, so I was moving furniture around. So my cats have a little fountain, a little water fountain thing. Because Puck's always liked, water from the faucet better. That's, better than just standing water in a bowl. So, so I had like the cat fountain over here on the, and I decided, well, I need to move it over there, and there's a plug over there, so I could plug it in, and so that I could move, some furniture and stuff and clean the floor. So I had put their fountain. I have a little square tray from IKEA, little plastic, it has a lid on it, and I had the fountain on there for a long time. And the last time I cleaned the fountain, I had put, those absorbent pee pads. I had put one on in this little square. I thought, because Puck, even though had the burbly fountain, he sticks his paw in it to see
test it.
Yeah, to see if there's water because cats can't see up close. So anyway, so I had put the little pad there, the absorbent pad, because he's always jumping on my bed with wet feet. Anyway, so I had noticed that that it seemed like it had gotten really wet, and also I would go to fill the fountain, and it seemed like I was filling it more often, putting more water in it or whatever. But anyway, so when I went to move the tray, I picked the fountain up and took it off of the tray so that I could clean the tray. And I put another one of those absorbent pads underneath the fountain. But when I moved it, I had put it on the floor for a second and then put it on this pad, and there was a little wet spot there. And I thought, did I spill somehow I jiggled the fountain and spilled a little bit, because it was just a little wet spot. And so I put it on this pad and I cleaned the thing and I put it over there and I, moved around. And then I thought, is it my imagination or is it wet? On the little pad, the absorbent pad. And, but I thought, and so I, was working in my room and working. And then I looked at the fountain and it was like, that's very wet. And
Because
so,
it's the week where nothing works.
Yeah. And I need, I've been talking to Eve about, I need to go buy some more filters anyway, because I need to change the filter on that fountain and blah, blah, blah. But, we had various reasons not gotten around to it. But, I didn't think it was...
maybe it was the filter.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that urgent anyway.
Yeah.
But so...
Now you need a whole new fountain.
Yes, I do, because well, and I looked at it because I thought, well, maybe I didn't put there's a little hoochie doodle to put there's the fountain, the what do you call it, burbler thing goes in the bottom and this and that and the other.
What is a hoochie doodle?
The thing with the from the
thing with the thing and the
thing with the pling.
But so. I don't know exactly where it was leaking, because I thought maybe I just, but when I was looking at it, I thought, well, if that wasn't shut right, the clamp that holds the cord in place, I thought if that wasn't shut, there's not really, I couldn't tell where it would like leak out to the outside, and the bottom part wasn't cracked that I could tell. And so I don't know where it was leaking from, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to get a new one. So I threw that one away, and until I can get a new one, I'm not going to get a new one until we move finally.
Yeah.
And so yesterday I was at Walmart because I had to pick up a prescription, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go over there to the pet area, and I got a little bowl to fill up, but I have to put it somewhere else because I don't know. they got cat litter in it somehow,
no.
so you know I gotta move it.
It's because
But yeah, so
the week and everything
So
went.
it's
we
it's
should
been a
go
week.
because
We should go.
my eyes
Yes.
are hurting me and I can't see.
Today I am committed to completely revamping my closet at home. I've washed like every stitch is clean, and my closet is so stuffed with things I never wear. So I'm going to purge. I'm going to do the whole "does this spark joy" thing, and see if I can thin my clothes out a little bit. Because I'm like, there's stuff in here I never wear, and I don't know why I keep it. It's some kind of I don't know why I keep it. So I'm just gonna thank it and give it away. Like that lady said. Did you ever watch her show, her stuff? That lady, I can't think of her name right now, but she was like, she'd like hold it in your hand and see if it sparks. She's Asian. Hold it in your hand and see if it sparks joy. And if it sparks joy, then keep it. If it doesn't, then thank it. Thank you, and give it away.
I was gonna say that when we were doing all this stuff to move, in my sock drawer, in my tall boy, I have a little tray, organizer tray thing, and it has a whole bunch of socks in it. And since I moved to Arizona, there's
It's time to let them go.
now that I have my shoes that I wear socks with these shoes, but I have a whole bunch of trouser socks because back in the day when I used to work for a living and also with the symphony, we had to wear black socks and blah 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 and black houchery of some kind.
Let it go.
And I haven't worn those trouser socks since I lived here. I thought, why do I have them?
Yes.
Because yeah.
Yeah. It's time.
I think I wore a pair when we went to Dad's funeral. I think.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, it's
but
time.
since
Yeah,
then
and I just
haven't,
decided I can't stand it anymore. I'm feeling restless. Maybe that's why I couldn't just sit around and knit. I don't know. But next week,
yes,
I am going to see my aunt, our aunt in New Mexico. So that'll be fun.
She's very excited.
I'm so excited to go. And
that's not why you're going,
like,
but you're going to see her while you're there.
no, that's
That is why you're going?
I am going to spend time with her.
Oh, good.
So yeah, they're like, you can use our other aunt's car, and I was like, no, I'm renting a car. So we can be our own dog. But I'm probably gonna take both of them to Santa Fe or something like that while we're there, because I'm leaving Friday, and coming. I don't come back till Monday evening, so I'm spending a good long because we have Friday afternoons off at the symphony right now, and so I'm only having to take just the 4 hours of PTO on Friday, and then Monday. So it's nice. So I'm going to go and.
So you got a chance to see Tim?
Oh yeah, I already told him.
She'll enjoy that because.
I know. I feel that
She gets very.
Yeah. She needs some attention and some time. So we're gonna go and we're gonna have a nice time. I'm gonna go and figure out how to eat Mexican food on a low carb diet.
Yeah.
But it can be done.
Yeah.
I'm just like, but anyway, I'm excited.
You're in chili stew.
Yeah, with potatoes. No, very sad. Very
Just
sad.
don't eat the potatoes.
Tell me not to eat potatoes. I miss potatoes so much. But anyway, so we'll probably record early next week, but we will see you for sure next week. Thanks for sticking it out with us and joining us. And you like our centerpiece? It was the only thing I could find when I came to this house. I'm like, we need a centerpiece. What's here? Tape. So,
Which has been ruling our lives.
yes, we are glad to see this crazy week go, and we will see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.